Hello, I'm Nahid from Good Vibes, and I'm here to talk about my greatest inspiration for real business in Orange.
When Nahid de Belgeonne set up Good Vibes in 2006, bringing the power plate to the UK, the fitness industry knitted its brows. She had zero experience in the sector, no client base, and the power plate was practically unheard of. She was bound to fail, right? Wrong. The former publisher, photographer and textiles designer has opened 4 studios across the capital, has a client base of more than 10,000, employs 18 members of staff and has sales of more than £500,000. Nahid joined us to talk about her greatest inspiration. Nahid, thank you for joining us today.
Good morning.
So you've been a textile designer, a publisher, a photographer. What made you set up Good Vibes in 2006?
Very simply, I had a go on one of the machines and wanted one, but I live in a flat, so I didn't think that would be very good for the neighbours. And they're really expensive, so decided to write a business plan and set up a studio, and it's going to be a bit of a sideline, and then it really took off. So it was purely from the fact that I wanted one of the machines.
And in terms of setting up your own business, who did you turn to for advice along the way? Do you come from an entrepreneurial family at all?
I don't, but I'm the daughter of immigrant, so they're always desperately trying to figure out ways to make money, and do you know what I mean, wheeling and dealing, if at all possible. And we had uncles when I was quite young, who weren't really uncles, but we called them uncles, who used to have restaurants, and they were always the sort of more suave ones with Mercs and blah, blah, blah. So I've kind of been aware of an entrepreneurial spirit. I've set up a company before that was my own textile design company, so kind of, was quite aware of that and how to go about doing things.
Have you sort of turned to friends and family then along the way, or have you had a particular mentor or an advisor?
In this business, I do have a bit of a mentor actually that I've met along the way called David Pearl, who's a property man, and it's not related to my business at all. But of course, business is it's the same process regardless of the industry that you're in. So he's really good, even if they're very sort of broad kind of comments about what to do next and how to cope with certain things. But I have lots of friends who surround me who are really good at advice as well.
Because even though you were a fitness fanatic, you didn't really have any experience of running a business in that industry. So what were the sort of biggest challenges you came up against in running Good Vibes?
Well, not actually having any contacts in the fitness world was probably one of the biggest. But I remember on the very first day we opened up, I just picked up the phone and rang every single editor in London and every person that I knew and their friends and so on, and we filled it out that way. And I didn't really think about what the challenges were going to be. I just wanted to do it.
And in terms of actually growing the business, are there things that now you look back on and think, I wish I'd done that? I
was thinking about this, and I think possibly, I think I should have been a bit tougher sometimes on decisions, or when you know that somebody you've taken on isn't right. And I'm probably a bit of a softie, as most people who run, you're so sentimental about your own business. And I think I should have been a little bit tougher, because the problem is if you don't deal with something there and there, it just goes on and becomes something a bit bigger, doesn't it? So Good Vibes has a particular personality, and the sort of people we employ are a particular type of people. It's quite a happy, relaxed kind of thing. So anyone who's sort of trying to hustle you or hard sell to you or is a bit... that the whole sort of message of ours is that it's a really easy thing to do and it's really fun as well. So anybody who doesn't quite fit that, it becomes quite problematic. So I wish I'd been a bit tougher on that.
How do you go about employing those kind of people? How do you find the right talent for the company?
As with everything I do, it's gut instinct. You meet somebody, you get a really good sort of feeling from them, and that's all I think you can go on. I don't think somebody can have the most impressive CV, but if they're not really good with people, or if they don't just give out the right vibe, it doesn't really work. So just as I would choose friends, I'm sure that you just get a really nice reaction from somebody or a really nice response from them, and then you take it from there. Obviously, they have to have all the qualifications to back them up.
Sure. And are there any other entrepreneurs that you look to, that you admire, and that you've kind of followed their footsteps?
I thought, I'm not sure I follow their footsteps, I wish I had. Anita Roddick, for instance, I just thought was amazing. I loved how she applied a real sort of feminine sensibility to business, and of course to set the agenda for those types of businesses that want to, look after the world and recycle and be a bit more caring, really, in the whole aspect. James Dyson, I think, is amazing and wonderful, and just that, people who are driven just really excite me. I've got a very good friend called Adam from Vexed Design, and he's just so full of ideas. You can talk to him about anything, and his whole business has been totally ideas driven, and I find that rather exciting as well.
And are you trying to impart that sort of level of enthusiasm to the next generation of entrepreneurs? Are you doing anything to help?
I do actually, on a very informal sort of way. I was involved with an ambassadors programme for going into girls' schools, and that was really good fun. Haven't done tons of that, but on an informal basis, I'm constantly chatting to people. People are often coming to see me as well to ask me for advice. And I'm not sure how good my advice is, but really it's just about, just being driven, I think, isn't it?
And where do you see Good Vibes being in 5 years' time?
I think that we'd like to be known as the place to come to get fit really quickly, and for it to be fun, and not to be lectured, and not to be kind of feel at all sort of inferior when you come in through the door. So just a one-stop place that you want to come to get fit.
If there are 3 nuggets of advice you had to give to other young entrepreneurs, what would it be?
Well, be prepared to work very hard, be prepared to be totally passionate about it. What else? And have fun, I think. Have real fun. Just remember what you're in it for. I mean, the reason I went into business is because I think nobody's quite as clever as me, so I wouldn't want anyone to be my boss. Which one day I'm sure I'll regret saying that in public when I need a job. But so I just think you have to be really passionate about it and enjoy it. And it can always seem hard work. There's a lot of work to be done. But actually, if you sort of sit back every day and kind of go, you know what, that was good, and that was a good day. I mean, my sort of business is so social. You open the doors, and I've met so many people through it, and lots of different types of people coming through every day. And that's been the real fun aspect. I've made some very good friends through it as well. So I get to keep fit, I get to make a living, and I've got lots of friends, so hurrah.
I mean, you talked about people coming through the doors. Are you seeing a fall in consumer demand because of the recession?
It has hit us a bit. I have to say our takings are up in last year. And I think the reason is because it takes a very short time to get fit in our place. You don't have a membership fee, so you can kind of choose and stop and start as you wish. But also I think actually people have realised that you might love your job, but your job won't always love you. So it's kind of people looking to ways to look after themselves regardless.
Naheed, thank you very much for coming in and talking to Real Business and Orange today.
Thank you very much.